45 and 52 late night Labor Day edition. I should warn you, I'm going to go a little bit longer on this one than I have in the past. At least I anticipate going a little bit longer. It was a busy week, and to be fair, I've gone shorter the last couple weeks, so balances out, I guess, somewhat. Before we start everything, I hope that you're having a great Labor Day weekend. I hope that you're doing something more fun than just watching, me on YouTube. But either way, whenever you're watching this, I appreciate you checking it out. So I'm going to share something that I wasn't completely sure I was going to share, but we'll get into it. As I said, it was a very busy week. I've been talking in the past just about some of the different health things I have going on, and I finally had a test this past Wednesday. I had my first colonoscopy. There you go. I can't say it straight. 45 years old, so they used to say at 50 you have to get them. They've lowered that by 5 years because there has been a rise in colon cancer, from what I understand, over the past few years. And actually, while I was there, the nurse who commended me on going there said, hey, I wouldn't be surprised if they start to recommend it at 40. So all in all, it was a good experience, I have to say. People were like, the drink is going to be the worst, and I don't know, it was okay. I mean, it kind of tasted like really sweet and syrupy Gatorade, like old school lemon lime, like when Gatorade first came out back in the day. And it just kind of felt like my insides were like weighed down with cement. But once everything went through, went in, those things are kind of easy. You get your anesthesia, you get knocked out. It was kind of funny. The anesthesiologist, an older guy, was like, you look young for here. What's going on? Rectal bleeding? And it's like 4 people said that. I was like, no, I'm 45. Oh, he's like, oh, I thought you were like 25. And I said, that scares me as the guy who's administering the anesthesia, but thank you. I was like, I think maybe you may need to up your prescription. But anyway, I was a little bit nervous because anytime that you're going under anesthesia, there's a risk that bad things may happen. And I just kind of said like a little prayer the morning of. After I hugged my kids, I was like, hey God, look, just let me come back. Let me come back to my kids and my wife and everything. And it was kind of weird. I was a little nervous up until I was actually in the operating room. If you know me, I haven't mentioned it in this series, but I know I've mentioned it in the past, and certainly I've mentioned it in other ways, IG and everything. My favorite band of all time was Stone Temple Pilots, and I say was because after Scott left or was fired and died, I consider that a different band, and it's no disrespect. It's just, all right, this is where I get off. Maybe I might listen to them one day and change my mind, but that's my mindset, at least for the moment. So they're wheeling me in, and I'm in the operating room, and this is the first time I think I actually met the doctor. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah, we're doing this. And I hear a radio, like an old school, like somebody had a radio like on a table, which, I mean, it was like a professional office environment. I didn't expect to hear anything like that, or even see anything like that. And it had just started playing the beginning of Interstate Love Song, like it was waiting for me to come in the room. And I was like, okay, I understand, you got me. And sure enough, turned on my left side, watched the white anesthesia go in. It was like something out of a movie. And next thing you know, I'm out in the recovery room, and it's like 20 minutes later. But yeah, I mean, all in all, ironically, it was on the same day. I couldn't have planned this better, and I kind of wish I was told that it was going to drop like this. That morning before I left, Pat Hickey Jr. over at Legacy Comics sent me a message with the actual press release. I guess it's going into the second part of our discussion, that for the first time ever, my artwork is going to be printed in or on a comic book cover. I've put that big announcement up on my channel. One thing we've been promoting that you might not know the whole story of. So first of all, I'm a big fan of Legacy Comics, a big fan of Pat. I've interviewed him twice, very driven guy, and I appreciate anybody who could say, I have this idea, let me run with it. And he's a grinder. Maybe that doesn't sound the way I intended, but he's a hard worker. Why don't we say that? And it's evident in his interviews and his work and everything. So I was just drawn. I was like, hey, look, I got an idea for some covers, and he liked them. And he's like, why don't we do something with it? And I said, hey, look, the only way I want to get this off the ground is if, rather than getting paid, whatever you would normally pay me, we're going to donate to Comics Curing Cancer. He's like, absolutely. His wife, and I'm sharing this because he's been quite public about it, is a recently going through cancer. I think technically she's out of the woods. I don't know, and I don't want to overstep or overstate. But my hat's off to him, because look, it's our jobs as husbands and as spouses to support our spouse in their time of need, and for better or for worse. And Pat is the living embodiment of that. And I give him a lot of credit. He's working a full-time job, so he's being there for his wife and for his kids, and he's running Legacy. Hardworking guy. I can't say enough great things about him. Any authors, like, I don't even know how many books. I think he's written more books than I have in my bookshelf here. Probably not, because I do have a lot of books, but you get my point. So I said, look, the only way I want to do this particular project is if we can donate to Comics Curing Cancer. And that's the big highlight of it for me. I love getting my art seen. I love the fact that we can do something good with it in the meantime. And, look, God willing, we'll work on some other projects in the near future. I'm not really worried about the money portion of that. I have to say, if you've watched, it's kind of an incomplete series. In the past, I've done just a little bit about my history as an artist. It definitely was a struggle. I never finished that series. Maybe I should do that soon enough. I went from loving, this is the thing I love to do. I love to go home and draw, as pathetic as that sounds, to having that kind of pulled out from under me in college. And I feel like the chapter that I haven't spoken about is me kind of slowly reclaiming that. And this is kind of, for me, a culmination of it. And I hate talking about myself and my art in that way. I'm not a bragger type of guy, and I don't want to sound that way. But I feel like I claim something that was part of me back. I really do. And, I thank everybody for encouraging me, my wife, friends, fellow YouTube people, and Pat, really. It really was a big boost, I have to say. And at the same time, I'm nominated for the Comic Book Community Award, and I'm like, I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. I'd be happy if we can all win. But then it kind of hit me like, okay, as far as favorite community artist goes, since I'm being published now, I think, at least by the description, nobody's said anything to me, but by the description, this will be my last shot to win that award. So, like I said, I hope we can all win, but it would be nice. I'm not going to lie to you. And I know that, look, an award doesn't qualify you as you're the best, and even the idea of the best of anything is a temporary idea. I think it'd just be cool. And look, at the end of the day, in that category especially, there's some great artists, and even people who were not in that category. Roscoe's amazing. Izzy. Just Naman. Naman still made, when I was on Between the Lines, he made one of my favorite pieces I've ever seen. It was just kind of like a Japanese inking of the Savage Land. It was the first and only time I've really said, gee, I want that. um, and I don't mean to slight anybody else. I'm drawing a blank at the moment. Everybody in that category is great. And there's some great artists that aren't nominated either. So that blows me away just to be in the mix, so to speak. But enough about that. So yeah, I mean, if Pat gave me a heads up, I probably would have like messed up somehow, been like, hey, guess what? I'm getting my first colon cancer screening, and bam, here's this book to help comics curing cancer. So it's all very serendipitous, I guess you could say. Big word. This week coming up, weekend has been a little bit of downtime, just been a little off, as you can imagine. Tomorrow, Monday, or by the time you're watching this, it's Monday. Hoping we can do like a little kind of a mini get together. If not, I'd be perfectly fine, to be honest with you, just to rest. And the week ahead, not much going on. I did start another art challenge myself. I haven't talked about that yet, but go into my IG and you'll see something about that. Anyway, look, we're more than double the time I usually take on these, and I appreciate you checking this out. Told you I would take, I guess you could say, some extra time. I think I just said that, sorry. It's a little bit later than I should probably be recording this. But as always, thanks for checking this out. Hope you have a great week. Take care.